plan to sit down and film a video when it is wet and rainy outside. Especially one that we all come to know and love. This is Project Rotate Your Stash Update 10 November Check-In.
Story of our lives, the best of times, through color glass.
It's been such a great project and really helping me kind of cycle and reach for different things in my makeup collection. And I think I've done rather well at getting good use out of things that I normally might not necessarily would reach for. You want to hear how well I did on October's products and see what new products will be chosen, then just make sure to keep on watching. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys subscribe. I put out new content 2 to 3 times a week, well, sometimes, so you don't want to miss out on all the fun. Also, make sure to check the down bar for all my other links to all my other social media platforms. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop on into the video. We've been doing this project for almost 1 year. I created this project on December 19th of 2019, so it'll officially be a year project next month, which is so crazy to say. This originally was a year-long project plan with monthly updates. After discussing it and talking about it with the group of ladies who are doing this project also over on Instagram, I have since came to the decision to go ahead and extend this project for another year. I know I asked you guys in my last month's update, which of course I will have the playlist to this project in the cards for you guys, on what you guys thought about possibly extending this project over here as well. Would you be interested in seeing these updates? Do you like this type of a project? Please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Everybody seems to really enjoy this project. For the first 6 months, it was all your decision and choosing your products. In the last 6 months, it has all been roulette style and picking 5 to 10 products from your makeup collection. After using them for a month, you then give a little mini review on the products and decide on whether you want to keep the product in the project to pan it, keep it in for another month, or roll it out and pick something else entirely. Also incorporating the most important factor on whether you want to keep the product or declutter it from your collection. So it's just been a great way to really help you kind of cycle through your makeup collection and rediscover old favorites or things that just might not be working for you anymore, to declutter them. Sorry for the long intro. Let's just go ahead and get into it. For the month of October, I randomly select the number of products that I'm also bringing in each update, and I was randomly drawn 4, so I had 4 additional products rolled in on top of the 2 products that I'm keeping into pan. Plus, I kept in 1 product for another month in an attempt to finish it. So let's just go ahead and go over any progress that I might have made on these products. Starting with number 358, and that was my little mini NARS bronzer in the shade Laguna. Last month, this was at 17.7 grams, and it is now at 17.6 grams. So I managed to use 0.1 gram of it. Hey, it's still something, you know? I did reach for this and use it a few times this past month. Since it is a little bit of a darker shade, I wanted to try to get as much good use out of this as I could while I still have somewhat of a tan left. It's kind of fading rather quickly. I do really enjoy this bronzer. It's just a mini, but minis definitely last longer than you think. I will go ahead and keep this in my collection. I don't want to declutter it, and maybe even possibly put it in a project in the future, one where I can attempt to actually hit pan and finish this, like my Pan the Little Things project that I'm doing over on my Instagram only, where I am trying to finish as many samples and mini products as I can in a 6-month period of time, which has now turned into a year as well. So this might possibly go in that project. We shall see. I did really enjoy it. It's very blendable and buildable, and it was just a really pretty bronzer. So I'm definitely going to keep this, but roll it out. The next number was number 167, and that was my my Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer. Last month, this was at 14.7 grams, and it is now at 14.6 grams. So I used, again, 0.1 gram of this, which, hey, little progress is still progress. I only managed to reach for this and use this 2 times because I did notice that this shade, which is the shade Nude Beige, is a little yellow for my undertone. I am more of a neutral undertone, so this was a bit yellow on me. Not to say that it wouldn't look bad potentially when I have more of a tan. I'm not really sure. With that being said, I'm not really sure on what I want to do with this, only because I did finish up in an entire tube of one of these before, and when it got to halfway, or a little less than halfway, the formula changed on it a little bit, and it just caked and got so creasy under my eyes, and it was not the same formula. So I am afraid that this will do that as well. I might, however, keep this anyways to just use this to cut my crease. I do use my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define for cutting my crease, which is in the shade C3, and that's all I use this for. But as you can see in comparison, this one is much more yellow than the Makeup Revolution. I do really like a lighter type of concealer to cut my crease more so than a yellow one. We shall see. I'm still undecided as to what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to keep it out and try to work with it a little bit more. If I don't change my mind on this, then I will definitely just declutter this altogether. The next number was number 663, and that was my Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Color Liquid Lipstick in the shade Timeless Toffee. And this is a real beautiful lip shade. Last month's update, I did show a swatch of this, and it is a beautiful shade. I'm just not the biggest fan of the formula. It is super drying, but with that being said, because it is so drying, it definitely lasts on the lips without fading or having to reapply for a very long time. It does come with the other side, this like conditioning type of lip balm that you can apply over top of this, but I'm just not the biggest fan of these. With over 230 lippies, I really need to just let this go because I have decluttered one of these in the past, but I also really love this color, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep this, but definitely will be rolling it out. The next number was number 435, and that was my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeshadow palette. And as you can see, it is just a really gorgeous, gorgeous eyeshadow palette. It is so very rich and warm and buttery smooth on the eyes. I'm actually wearing it today, and I will insert a couple photos of this look so that you guys can see just how gorgeous this palette is. There's something so unique about the undertones in this palette. It is absolutely a beautiful palette. It's been a while since I have reached for this and used this palette, and my husband actually got this for me for my birthday, and it was one of the very last gifts that I allowed to come into my collection. It is just a super stunning palette. I wish I would have reached for it more this past month because I've only used it 1 or 2 times, and every time I use it, I really love the way the look comes out. The undertones in here are just so unique and so beautiful. They really give your eye that extra dimension and depth to the look that is just so unexplainably beautiful, as you can see from the look. And it has 4 different type of trios here. One for daytime, one for desk wear, one for date wear, and one for dream wear. And you can really mix them up and do however you like, but you have the set 3 trios to really give you 4 different types of eye looks. I really did enjoy this palette. I'm glad it was chosen, and I am definitely going to be keeping this but rolling it out. The next number was number 241, and that was my little mini Glam Glow Starter. Last month, the weight on this was 9.5 grams, and it is now at 8.7 grams. So I used 0.8 grams of this past month, and it's still not empty. I kept this in for another month last month in hopes to finish it up, and I still haven't finished this, which is crazy. It's just a mini. It's only 0.5 ounces in here, but minis do take longer than you think. So I'm so close to finishing this though. Like any day now, literally. I think I might have 1 or 2 uses left in here, and I should definitely be able to call this quits. I'm going to be rolling it out, but I'm definitely going to continue to work on it and finish it up. The last 2 products, which are the 2 products that have been staying staying in the project to pan is my Covergirl lip gloss in Give Me Guava, which I have some exciting news on this. I finally pulled the stopper out of here last month, which is so exciting. Usually when you pull the stopper out of any product for that matter, lip gloss, concealer, there always tends to be a ton more product like right around where the stopper was. So now it's like kind of a gobby mess in here, but it is literally to the point where I am just scraping the sides of the tube at this point. As you can kind of see right there, you can see through the tube pretty good there. I'm hoping that I should be able to finish this up throughout this next month, so I'll have 1 month to spare that I finish this, because this was in the project for the duration of the entire project, and it just shows you it took me almost 1 full year to finish 1 tube of lip gloss. So makeup definitely lasts longer than you think. Last month the weight on this was at 17.8 grams and it is now at 17.1 grams. So I used 0.7 grams of this, a little over half of a gram, which is not too bad. 0.7 grams is pretty good progress to me. So we're gonna go ahead and keep working on this. Of course, this is staying in the project till I finish it entirely. I have to finish this by the end of the year for sure. And last but certainly not least is my Milani Color Statement Lip Liner. And last month this was at 2 grams exactly, and it is now at 1.8 grams. So I used 0.2 grams of it. Slowly but surely this is getting smaller and smaller. I actually did pretty good this month. There's a significant amount of use right here comparison. You can see here, if I zoom you in, you'll be able to see that there is a nice little gap of a difference there, where I've definitely gotten a lot of good use out of this again. And each month I do rather well on this. There's a little chunk each month that it goes down. I do use this almost every single day, and it's a really beautiful, just nude, creamy, your lips but better type of lip liner. This is also going to be staying in. I don't know if I'll necessarily be able to finish this by the end of the year, but it's definitely getting smaller and I've enjoyed using it. Every time I use it, I really get a lot of enjoyment out of using it. The next slide, I'm going to go ahead and insert me randomly selecting the number of products that I'm going to be bringing in for the month of November, which is between 3 to 8. And then after that, I'm going to try to go ahead and insert the Tiny Decisions app of me picking the numbers of my inventory. I have between 1 to 434 is the first portion of my makeup. So everything besides palettes and lippies, and from 435 on to 821 is nothing but palettes and lippies. So I'm going to try to, depending on how many numbers it draws, if it draws, let's say 6, I'll draw 2 numbers from the palette and lippy wheel, and the rest of the remaining numbers will be from my rest of my makeup inventory. That way I am incorporating at least 1 palette and 1 lippy in the project. Let's go ahead and see how many products will be drawn. So as you saw, it randomly selected 7. In the next slide, I will show you my Tiny Decisions wheel. I will pick 5 products from my Tiny Decisions wheel with my makeup inventory minus the palettes and lippies. And then the last 2 numbers, I will then pick from my Tiny Decisions wheel that has my lippies and palettes. I know this is so confusing to you guys, but just follow along and you'll see what I mean. It'll all come together in the end. My inventory. So let's go ahead and pick the first number that was drawn, which was number 251. If we scroll up here, number 251 is definitely in my primer category. If it happens to pick something like it's doing right now that is already in another project, which is my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, it's a mini, that is currently in my Pan the Little Things project. So until I'm able to actually go through and take out what numbers are in projects already for this project, project, then I'm just gonna go ahead and go down one, which now if I go down one is my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. The next number was number 142. Number 142 is definitely in my lip liners. If we scroll down again, 142, like what are the odds? It happens to pick something that was just in the project last update, and that is my Wet n Wild gel liner in the shade Doll in Love, which was just in the project. So we're just gonna go down one to the Wet n Wild gel liner in the shade Bear to Comment. The next number was number 85. Let's go ahead and scroll over here to the beginning of the inventory. And if I scroll down, number 85 is in my powders, and it looks like it's my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish, which is a mini. Since this was already in my pan, the Little Things Project pan, I'm going to just go ahead and go up one, because if you see, if I go down one, then it is in fact another product that is in a project currently. I'm just gonna go ahead and go up to number 84, which is my full-size Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. The next number was number 128. So let's go ahead and scroll on to the top here. It's looking like number 128 is in my eyeliners. And if we scroll down, number 128 is my LA Girl Ultimate Eye in the shade Super Bright. And then the last number from the rest of my makeup inventory before going to eyeshadows and lippies is number 318. We have to scroll on down to glitters, the glitter category, which is a very big category. And the number 318 is so close to being something that was already in a project. Actually, my Super Shock in the shade Frog. It's in my Beauty A to Z project, and I just recently hit pan on that. So an Amber Rush was in my project 10 uses. I'm just gonna go down to number 320, which is my L'Oreal Pot eyeshadow in the shade Always Pearly. And then the last two numbers, as you've seen, I went under my palettes and lippies, and I tried to spin a couple times where I would think it was gonna draw both one palette and one lippy. I'm not really sure if it did that or not, so let's just go ahead and look together. The first number was number 467, which I definitely know is an eyeshadow palette. And then the next number was number 477, which is also an eyeshadow palette. So what I'm just going to go ahead and do is pick these numbers and use the two products that were picked, which number 467 is my Morphe. That is so crazy. My 35F palette, which was just in this project as well. So I'm going to go down one to number 468, which is my Morphe 35H palette. And that's why I need to go in here and update this and really remove numbers on things that have already been in projects, because without doing so, it really kind of defeats the purpose for me to really kind of use things that have not been used. I'm going to use my 35H palette. And again, the last number was number 577, which was the second draw, because the first one I knew was a palette as well, but I was hopeful that number 577 would be a lippy. Here we go. It's another product that has been in a project, which is my Huda Beauty Nude Medium, which was in Throwing Shade. Since that's been in a project, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go over here to my lip category, and I'm gonna randomly select off camera a lip color. And then when I come back to show you guys the products, I'll show you the number of the lippy that I picked. So I think we're good to go. I went and gathered these products that were chosen. I'm so sorry for any confusion if you guys are having a hard time and following along and keeping track with these different numbers and things. Like I said, that is really why I need to just take a day, if I could ever take a day, sit down and go through my inventory and remove numbers on products that are assigned to it that are already been in other projects or have already been chosen for this project. So that way, moving moving forward, it'll be easier, and the numbers that it lands on and picks will be products that really haven't been used in a while. To me, I just feel it kind of defeats the purpose on if it picks something that was, let's just say, already just picked, for example, as you saw, or products that are already in other projects. It just kind of defeats the purpose. Instead, I just want to really try to pick again or draw something that has not been in a project. Let's go ahead and I will wrap this up and show you guys the products and the starting weights, starting with number 468, which is my Morphe 35H palette. And as you saw, I went ahead and randomly selected this over the 35F palette because the 35F palette was just in some project not that long ago. And here's what she looks like. Just a really gorgeous mix of cool tones and warm tones. I like how this side is all cool tones and this side is all warm tones. And it's just a really gorgeous eyeshadow palette. Just really excited to kind of reach for this again and get a little more use out of it. As you saw at the end, I inserted another little screen recording of me randomly selecting a lip shade, which was number 527. And that ended up being my Beauty Glaze Kristen liquid lip, which is a dupe for the Kylie Cosmetics Kristen liquid lip, and it's a really gorgeous shade. Of course, I'll insert a swatch of this so that you can see how pretty it is, and I actually do really like these. It's a liquid lipstick, so it's of course it's drying, but I always go over top of any liquid lipstick with a gloss. I'm really excited that it chose this, and I'm excited to get some good use out of this. I think it'll be perfect for the fall right now with the more like berry tone type of red shade, and the starting weight on this is at 7.5 grams exactly. The next number was number 320, and as you saw, I had to go down a couple because that was my L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow pot in the shade Always Pearly, and it's just a real pretty like pink type of creamy potted type of eyeshadow. As you saw, again, it chose my Amber Rush one, and then it chose another one that had already been in projects, so I went down to one that has not been in a project yet. It's just a real beautiful, like creamy, beautiful metallic shade for the lid. As you can see from the swatch, just how pretty that shade is. I don't think I've ever used this, so I'm definitely excited to go ahead and get a little bit of use out of this, even if it is just 1 or 2 uses. And the weight on this currently is at 17.4 grams. I don't know what it is, but I struggle with reaching for like my potted types of eyeshadows, which they're so gorgeous and they tend to dry out really quickly. So I need to think of something else as a way to kind of help me reach for potted shadows more. The next number was number 85, and that was my Charlotte Tilbury Micro Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. And originally picked the mini, which is in my Pan the Little Things. And I was just going to go ahead and go pick this since I had just recently rolled this out. But just to make things easier, I went up one actually and picked my full size. And this is in the shade Fair. I'm going to go ahead and just work on my full size one. I use this every single day to set my concealer, so I won't have a problem in getting some good use out of this. It's real beautiful micro airbrushed powder, just as it says, and I really love this. The starting weight on this is 59.2 grams. The next number was number 142, and that was my Wet n Wild gel liner in the shade Bear to Comment, which is just a real beautiful nude lip liner, very similar color to the Milani one actually. I have 2 lip liners in. I'm just glad to get some good use out of this. These gel liners from Wet n Wild are really creamy, really gel-like, and I actually really enjoy them. So the current weight on this is at 4.7 grams. The next number was number 128, and that was my LA Girl Ultimate Eye Intense Auto Stay eyeliner in the shade Ultra Bright, and it is just what it says, an ultra bright creamy nude colored type of eyeliner. As you can see from the swatch of it, it's just it really kind of opens your eyes up and gives you that more wide-eyed effect, like you got a good night's sleep. I really enjoy these real light tone kind of eyeliners in the waterline, like a nude. I haven't reached for this in a while, so I'm definitely excited to get some good use out of this as well. And the starting weight on this is at 4.5 grams. And then the last number that was drawn was number 250 52, and that was my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Glad that it got drawn because I was using this and it was in my Beauty A to Z project pan, and I had set the goal to just basically hit the pan, and I hit the pan and then since rolled it out and haven't really used it much again. It's not to say that it's bad because I did really love this. I know this is so many people's favorite for good reason. It's affordable and it is a really nice poreless putty primer. I definitely won't have a problem in reaching for this and getting this down in weight a little bit. The current weight on this is 33.6 grams. Those are all my products and those are all my picks for the month of November. I can't believe it's November. We are literally almost down to 1 month before it's Christmas time and then before it's 2021, which is so exciting. The time literally has flown by. It has been quite a year. At the end of the year, I'm going to be sitting down and doing a check-in on my no-buy for you guys. I know you guys have been asking about that, and I definitely have some news I would like to share with you about my no-buy. That's basically everything for this update. Thank you so much for stopping by, and of course, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below. And until my next video, everybody enjoy the rest of their day. Bye!